Greetings, I'm the Chappers.
And I'm the Captain.
He is the Captain, and we're at Andertons in Guildfordshire on planet Earth, about to show you some very exciting new amplifiers.
Yeah, we've just took delivery of the brand new, long-awaited Roland Cube XL series. And so I hooked what I think are going to be the two most popular ones, the 20 and the 40, out of the store, ran them down here so Chappers could give them the once-over.
And we're blown away, absolutely blown away by these. They sound fantastic. They've got some really cool new features that we're going to show you step by step. It's
been a big time actually, this kind of autumn-winter time. We've had Fender have released the Mustang, Vox have released the new Valvetronic Plus, Line 6 doing some deals on Spider Force. This is a super competitive kind of market for small practice amps now. But I have to say, I think you're going to like the Roland Cube XLs. Yeah. Definite big improvement on the old XL, on the old Cube, sorry. Anyway, let's check it out. Got my little other camera here so you can see the panel on the Cube 40 that we're going to try first. This is packed full of new stuff. Got 40 watts obviously, we've got heaps of different amp sounds, we've got heaps of different effects, we've got a built-in looper.
I think the most obvious thing that struck me when we started playing it was the low end that comes out of the little tiny thing. It's unbelievable. It just like throws projectile low end at you from the Cube of Doom in a very pleasing way.
Cool. So basically it's a 2-channel amplifier. We've got a clean sound based on the Jazz Chorus, and then we've got heaps of different of amp models on the lead channel that you can choose from. But what we're going to do to show you the effects is going to primarily run through the effects on the clean channel, because most of them are a little bit more obvious on the clean channel than they would be on the drive channel. But you can of course add effects to any of the sounds that you want on here. So at the moment all we've got is a nice clean sound with just reverb. So let's hear some. Which I like, and as Chapper said, straight away, great bass end out of here. It's a very compact little amp, the Cube. So
I'll tell you something that's quite interesting is we're in a warehouse here, and downstairs, if you're washing your hands or making a coffee or something, and you hear Captain Lee playing some blues on this little tiny Cube, you think, well, that sounds amazing from downstairs. It travels. It's got such a great tight low end that it doesn't sound like a little tiny, what is it, a 110?
It's a 10-inch speaker, yeah.
It doesn't sound like a 10-inch speaker.
It's very portable, that's one of the nice things about this. But anyway, so perhaps you can see my finger appearing now on the little sub camera. So you can see we're on the JC clean channel over here. I have a tuner built in just here, which is nice and funky, very useful.
So I've just detuned my A string to show you how the tuner works. So Lee will now discuss the tuner with you.
Okay, check out my finger on the little camera here. You see that you've got this tuner on and off button, so we're going to turn the tuner on. Using the knob that I would normally use to select my type of lead sound, I'm going to tell it which string I want to tune to. So I've already done that actually, but there we are. So it's set to A. Hopefully you guys can see where it says 5A just here. So if Chappers now plays a note, and you can see he's very slightly flat. This red light here is for flat. This red light here would be if it was sharp. So he needs to tune up a little bit until the green light in the centre is on, and we don't want the two lights. That's it. Oh, gone a little bit sharp there, Chappers.
Oh, it's very sensitive because that was a tiny, tiny touch of the turn. Down a bit.
Down a bit.
Tuning blind. Yes.
So just when you got the green light, and if I wanted to do the other strings again, I would just move these round. So I can do, here goes the D string. So you see a little sharp on the D string still.
Really? How about that?
Tiny bit sharp still. That's it. Oh. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What you might also like as well, you'll notice the tuner button actually mutes the amplifier as well, so you won't be annoying everybody whilst you're tuning.
Yeah.
Over here again, you can see how I've set the EQ up. Pretty typical for a guitar, nice guitar amp sound, a little bit of extra bass, not too much with the mid-range, tiny bit of extra treble. Over here, you can see we have 3 types of effects. The EFX bank here contains the kind of modulation style effects. The next one along says delays and looper, and finally reverb. So you can have one from each of these blocks on all the time. So up to 3 effects plus your distortion effects. So that's cool. So let's take you through some of the effects that are in the effects bank. So we start with chorus. You can probably see as well on the small camera the way the little white kind of bar around the outside of the knob gets thicker for each effect. So that's essentially how we're turning the chorus or the type effect up and down. So if I go around a little bit more, you can see we go into flanger mode. Then we go into phaser mode. We'll use the phaser again actually to get a nice satch kind of gain sound. So we'll come back to that on a distortion sound. Then we've got tremolo.
Every time the Albatross, we're not playing Albatross. This is the one demo where I will not. Successful because it's played at the resting heartbeat level.
And finally, the last effect that we've got on the effects knob is heavy octave.
Chappers no longer needs the weirding module.
The thing you'll notice with the heavy octave as well is, like a lot of octave pedals, what it's really designed for is to track on single note stuff rather than
it's really
chords.
quick, really quick at tracking.
Yeah. So. Again,
quick.
Another great effect to use with some high gain to fatten up the bottom end as well. So we'll use that as well in a bit. So I'm going to turn the effects knob off now, and we're going to go into the delay knob. Now the delay has actually got, as well as the knob to decide how loud we want the delay, it has a tap tempo button, which you can see just
which
here.
was one of the it was, I guess, the one feature that the previous Cube had that annoyed me because I loved the sound that it didn't have. Yeah, because it had the sound of the awesome delay, but it didn't have a way of making it, you know, quicker, slower, softer, harder. It was just delay, more or less, and that was it. So this is awesome.
So you can see how clever this is now. When Chappers just does that stab, you'll see the echoes are in time with this green flashing light. But if I want to make that slower, I just tap in a slower setting, and you'll see that the...
Yeah!
I'll turn that up a bit just to make it more obvious. A super fast slapback style delay through to a nice long delay, and of course you can adjust the level of the delay using the knob here. I think we'll come back to the looper last, because I think the looper is probably this is where we're going to have to get some pedals involved and do some other stuff. So we'll skip the looper just for now. The final pedal along here, sorry, the final effect in the effects bank is reverb. And I've got two choices of reverb, a traditional spring style reverb or a plate style reverb, which is more of a studio style reverb. So
yeah, plate's the kind of reverb that Jimmy would have used. A bunch of Zeppelin probably most famously used a lot of plate stuff. I like that a lot.
cool. That's the top row done. I'm going to come back to this little power squeezer button that you can see where my finger is when we're on the lead sound. It does work on the clean sound, but it's more effective on the lead sound. So what we're now going to do is go through all of the different types of sounds that we can get on the lead channel.
The dial of joy.
We get there by pressing this little button here, or you can use a foot switch. All the foot switches for the Roland Cube are optional extras. But it actually, believe it or not, there is tons of foot switchable functionality on here. You can actually plug up to 6 foot switches, believe it or not, into the Cube 40. So everything to do with channel changing, turning the effects on and off, engaging the looper, hitting the solo button, all kinds of stuff. But
that's a sextuplet of sonic satisfaction.
I know, I think the crazy thing is if you bought 6 foot switches, it's almost as much as buying a Cube 40 for it. But so I don't know how many people buy that, but it can be done, and we'll show you a little bit more about that in a minute. So I'm going to press this select button here, and you see the red lights jumped over to the lead sound. Actually, I guess the lead sound is not a terribly descriptive setting, because actually not all of these are really lead sounds, and in fact a great example of that is the first one, which is an acoustic simulator.
Throw away your tailor.
So that is just to show you how kind of effective that is. I will literally just jump back to what a regular electric guitar channel sounds like, because it's a really good simulation.
I'll play the same riff, you just swap over at will. Fire at will.
That's good. Cool, right. The next one round, and ever so easy to see. Hopefully you can see on this.
Sorry.
That's all right. Hopefully you guys can see on the dial here. We've got a whole range of sort of descriptions here. Obviously, as always the case on these amplifiers, for copyright reasons, they're not allowed to actually use other manufacturers' brand names. But I can tell you that the black panel, is it called black panel? Yeah, black panel is a Fender Blackface Twin. So this, if I adjust the settings here, should give us a very vintage sounding, kind of clean sound. Obviously, because we've got a separate gain and volume here, of course, I can make it sound like a Fender Blackface Twin kind of driving a bit. So obviously I guess the black, that's quite authentic because the Blackface Twin would have been a predominantly clean amp with just a little bit of track gain. So next on the dial is one called Brit Combo. So that's going to be like a, you know, a Marshally or a Voxy kind of sound. Again, we can make it clean if we want to.
I was going to do a Lee impression.
Oh, sorry.
It's fine.
All right. Right, or with a bit more gain. Same again, same channel.
I saw that, it was really good.
Good film.
Great film.
Next one round is Tweed. We were mucking around with this earlier. This sounds great. This is like a classic old Fender Tweed sort of amplifier.
Great.
It's really good. Now we're getting into some of the heavier sounds, so we're going classic. I think this is sort of more modern
JCM
Marshall
800?
JCM type
Yeah.
stuff.
Phase me up,
We
buddy.
did promise this earlier to try and get a more of a Saatchi kind of sound, so we'll put the phaser back in just to show that you can use all the effects with the drive sounds as well.
Give me a bit of delay, buddy.
Bit of delay as well.
Long delay, quite subtle.
Let's just tap in a long delay.
Is all the gain in there?
No, we have
Put
more
all the gain in there.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah. That would be a good time to show what the power squeezer effect does actually. Power squeezer, this little button over here, is designed to reduce the volume of the amplifier but fatten it up and compress it as to sound more like an amplifier, a real valve amplifier really gunning.
Well, something we should do maybe, something that you've already done in the previous video, is this is pretty quiet. If you talk while I'm playing, people will see how quiet we really are. Because we're not in any way loud. This is bedroom level.
If I put the power squeezer in, so you can now see, hopefully you can still hear me over the top of this. I am really speaking, not just moving my lips. It's a really fat gain sound without being at all loud.
Yeah,
so
you can squeal, you can...
And I'm going to leave the power squeezer effect on now for the rest of the gain sounds because I think the gain sounds are better with the power squeeze. The next one along is a metal sound, so I'll just take the phaser and the delay off again. So we've got an Arifier.
Yeah, an Arifier.
Which is probably
I
one
like a bit of Arifier.
Mesa Boogie's. And
That's badass.
If I just adjust this control here, I can actually just make Chappers play that.
I can't stop playing, Lee.
We have, two more sounds to go. This is Extreme, not named after the band.
Yes, it
just
is.
Named after a
It is now.
extreme game setting.
Can you scoop a little bit of it out of that for me?
Yes, of course. And
Can I have my pick back, please, Andrew?
the last one on here is called Dyna. Oh, good
It
catch.
flew like a frisbee
Like a boomerang pick.
from the Monkey Lord store.
It's called what's called Dyna amp, and what's very, very cool about this is really this is like Roland showing off, isn't it?
It's really good.
Sort of saying that even though obviously this is not a tube amplifier, what they've managed to create here is an amp model that really reacts to how you use the volume control on
We
your
can
guitar.
demonstrate that by going back to the extreme, and I'll turn the volume down and you see what happens because it's digitally remodeling an extreme amplifier. I think it's basically based on a Powerball. So go back to the
Yeah,
extreme
we're
amp.
still on extreme, yeah.
Okay, so here. And if I roll the volume back off, it still sounds the same. It disappears, yeah. So it's not modelling what a valve amp would do. Change it over to the good stuff.
Yeah, try it now.
Check this out. So here's a plethora of tone using this particular type of effect. That's really nice.
It's really good.
Really
isn't it?
good. Yeah.
So that's basically tonally how the amp sounds. One feature that I didn't show you right at the end here has got a button called Solo. What we can do on the
low. I'm going so low.
that's actually what happens if you press the button. The other thing that happens, basically the idea of the solo button is you create a lead tone that you really like, so you can choose any of the amp models, set it up with an EQ and a type of effect, and basically then you can store that one sound. And then either using the button on the top here or by using one of the optional foot switches, you can recall your solo sound at any time. So essentially, if I just take that sound that Chappers was using now, you just saw I pressed the button down, waited for a couple of seconds till that flashed. Essentially now, I can turn the
So make a black panel my rhythm sound, for example, then.
There's your solo effect, really easy. It's got its own separate volume as well, so you can actually have it louder for an actual solo.
You can tell when I really like a product when I'm playing better than normal.
So
it's the synergy.
Okay, a couple more things just to talk to you about now. As I said to you a minute ago, let's just free that cable up. As I said to you a minute ago, you can have up to 6 different foot switches plugged into the cube if you want to. The ones that Roland would like you to buy are the Boss foot switches. These are called the FS5U. You can find these if you go to the Andertons website, check out the cube page. We'll put these in the optional extras section underneath. You can actually, these are what are called unlatching foot switches. So they're not like effects pedals, they don't do anything on their own. They're just designed to trigger sort of on-off stuff in the amplifier. These are unlatching foot switches. If you don't want to use the Boss ones, they are, you know, super sturdy and a little bit more expensive perhaps than some of the more plasticky ones. Again, in our optional extras section, we'll put a cheaper alternative to these.
What are these made of then?
These are like all Boss pedals, kind of all cast steel,
oh, wow.
you know, super chunky.
Sorry, I just presumed they were made of plastic.
No.
They just looked like they were, but they're not.
These are nuclear proof.
Wow.
So if you just buy, essentially on the back of the amplifier, you can see all the sockets that you would plug these into to make it do the channel switching or the effects on and off. But what I've done is decided to use these for looping. The reason I've got 2 pedals for looping is that one is used for the to start the recording and for overdubbing, and the other is just used for a stop button.
Wow.
So the cable is also an optional extra, and if you're using 2 of these, you need to use what's called a Y cable. So it's got 2 sockets on one end and only one on the other end. Again, it'll all be in the optional extras section. So what's going to happen now when we start the loop mode, we have up to 80 seconds that Chappers can create a loop in. This could be a single loop that he plays or one that he overdubs stuff on. As long as we don't use up more than 80 seconds, that's fine. I'm going to put these back on the floor now, so you're just going to probably see Chappers' knees going up and down, but basically that's what he's doing, is stomping on them. This is nothing, there's no other pedal, this is everything you can do in the amplifier. I do believe you can engage the looper on the amplifier without the pedals just by pressing the buttons, but as you can obviously see, if you're going to try and play guitar and press buttons on the amplifier, you just run out of hands. So these are pretty important if you want to use the loop feature. Anyway, I pop these back down here now.
With the foot switch, it's as simple as record, stop, and then play back. Done. That was a Ramsey style done. Did you see that?
You don't even have to stop if you don't want to. You can record and just hit to go straight into play.
Yes.
And then you hit it again and it goes into overdub. It's really simple.
It's as simple as
You'll
this.
see.
You'll see. So now I could just go.
What I'll show you on here as well is we can control the volume of the loop. So if you start it going, you can have it very quiet or loud.
That's really useful. Right, isn't it?
Really easy to delete the. You just hold down one of the buttons and it deletes the loop.
Holding.
So that's it. Little
Deleted.
button flashes on here. You probably saw that on here.
I was using the looping device for something that I thought was pretty cool. I'm learning to sing a song by a band called Alter Bridge, my new favourite band of all time. And the song is Ties That Bind, and there's a really cool riff, a lick that leads down to a chord that I found it really hard to sing and play over. So the lick goes like this. And then it goes into the chord sequence. Now here's what you can do. You could record that particular lick, stomp it when you want it to come in, and just focus on playing the chords. So I'll record the lick right now. Now it's in the looper, I can play the song, sing it, and stamp on it when I want that lick to come out. Isn't that awesome?
And you can take those loops, you can overdub them, as long as you basically keep within the 80 seconds that's in the memory.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So, do you know, it's the only amp that I know of in this price bracket that has the looper on it built in. So I think when we were looking at what maybe I might buy this or a Mustang or a Spider or whatever like that. If you want the looper, then definitely the Cube is the amp to go.
Lee, I think you should play some lead guitar.
Yeah, no problem at all. Did I show you this riff that I learnt the other day? I'll just say it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, see? Now you don't get that in many other amps, do you? So we've got one more cool thing that we're going to show you, and this is actually a pretty simple thing. Quite a few amplifiers have this, but we've plugged an iPod straight into the Cube. So you guys can see here is an iPod. There we are on the little one. We've got some tunes that we've borrowed from
David Wallerman.
Yeah, David Wallerman.
Genius David Wallerman.
So let's have a look. We'll go
Something in A or E, I fancy.
in E. Blues rock in E.
Yes.
Okay, blues rock in E. Let me turn this up a little bit.
You're my land.